I don't know why, but I always like to play tanks that other people don't either have or don't play a lot. For example, now that the Karo has been released again and everybody's spamming it, I don't think I've played my Karo once, and I just think it's because of the fact I don't want to be like everybody else, which is why you'll always see me in some of the more weird tier 10s and weird tier 9s and stuff like that. And in today's video, I'll be playing in one of the weirdest of the bunch, the TL7 120. This is essentially if you got an M103 and then just kind of compressed it down into this tiny little heavy. But I think it's a super fun tank, and in today's video I'll be showcasing why I think it's super fun. I thought we'd start off with the armor profile. A lot of people don't realize this, but the TL7 actually has some of the strongest armor in tier 9, especially when it comes to the upper plate. I mean, the lower plate's dookie. It's 90 mils thick. It doesn't matter what angle it's at, you're basically always going to pen that lower plate. However, the upper plate, even if loading heat shells from a vehicle like a WZ-114, the entire front part is around 370 millimeters thick. That means that you will literally never penetrate this middle upper plate. So it doesn't matter if you're in a tier 10, a tier 9, a tier 8, if you load premium ammo, you're going to bounce this, especially because that's not even using gun depression. Using gun depression, this upper plate is literally just completely impervious. The turret is also pretty strong hull down. It's got a lot of red, a lot of spots that you're going to struggle to pen with heat. With AP, it's also very solid, as you can see, upwards of 340. The problem is you do have this massive hatch, and I mean massive. I don't know why it actually has the hatch to be real when it's still got pretty big weak spots on the turret. It's a bit disappointing to see Wargaming really just, you know, kind of ruining a lot of the armor that it has with the hatch. So usually what I like to do is actually drive the entire tank out in flat ground, and then people will shoot at the hull rather than the turret, and that's when you get your bounces. When you're hull down, only reversing at I think it's 10, yeah, the vehicle definitely starts to fall apart. Now, gun-wise, the tank is quite nice. It features a 120mm, as it says in the name, which does 400 damage per shot, has 2,400 DPM, and incredibly solid penetration, upwards of 360mm. So you don't need to worry too much about the gun ever letting you down. It's got plenty of accuracy, plenty of everything there. It's just really the armor that can sometimes be a bit wonky due to the fact that it does feature that hatch. But the nice thing about this tank is it's so small, it's just so funky to drive. I mean, look at the size of this vehicle compared to even tier 8 heavies like the Luva E75 TS. The vehicle is literally half the size. It's just tiny. It's also got pretty good mobility for what it's worth. I mean, sure, its top speed is only about 35, but the power to weight allows you to stay at 35 no matter really what terrain you're on. So you can see here we're driving at our top speed already, and we're completely stripping our heavies behind us. So that's the pretty nice thing about this vehicle's mobility. We're going to make our way right into the hull down position in front of us. This is a good way to get some early game shots off and detect enemy opponents that have decided to make the crossing. So we can see we got the VK100, we got a decent chunk of heavies. It looks like the VK100 is actually stock, which I guess is good for us. Alright, let's aim it on the TNH and get a nice pen into his lower plate. Thank you very much. Because this tank is so small, it's really fun to put into positions like this and just get some big ol' slaps out. You can see the gun's DPM being very nice, and because I'm such a small tank, I'm very easily able to hide it in, you know, these little corners and stuff like that. So let's aim it on the TNH, and, well, actually, let's get a shell into the VK if he wants to drive out. Okay, well, we know the 1 VK is stock, which is good. So we're just going to chill here. And we're going to get a shell. Well, let's see. We got the Skoda off to the side. And I was going to shoot the Skoda because that thing actually features really, really deadly damage output and everything like that. But I guess in this current position, we're not able to get a shell into him. Our teammate finishes off that player. We're going to aim it on the side of the T95. There you go. Nice 400 damage shot. We are already up to 2,000 damage in this battle, which is actually quite a bit when you think about it. Now we're just going to drive over this hill. We're going to get a nice shell into the Skoda. There you go. 407 roll. And we are rolling personally out crazy, crazy good DPM. You can see the output of this vehicle, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, this is why I like the tank so much. The gun is great. The mobility is fine, and the armor is super, super solid. Really, what else do you need for a tier 9 heavy? So we're going to aim in an HE shell, and boom, get a nice 450 damage shot into that player. The WZ is going to shoot the VK. And honestly, I don't blame him. I'm a player that likes damage myself, so we're going to get a nice slapping for 440 damage into the VK as well. We've got our adrenaline on. We're going to reload, and in 3, a 2, a 1, a bonk. There you go. Another nice 450 damage shot. WZ is going to finish off that player over there, and all that's left is the Black Dog off to the side, who we're going to finish off with a nice 220 damage shot. I mean, this was probably one of the freest games I've had in a while. We literally just drove and farmed. It was, yeah, it was really, really free. 4,335 damage dealt, 2,420 blocked. We pulled out a golden M, and yeah, as I said, literally one of the craziest and easiest victories I've had in a very long time. But this is what makes the TL7 so fun. When you get in a position to use the turret armor, you'll notice specifically that I went on the corner of the rock that hid our hatch. This is something that you always want to do when you have a hatch that is on one side of the vehicle compared to the other. My hatch is on the right side of the tank, so if I sit on a rock like this one here, and I'm on the right side of the rock, it's not going to be very good for me to work because of the position of my hatch. But if I put my tank off to the left side of the rock, you can see that I can poke my vehicle only showcasing a corner of the hatch without really showing a lot of it. So this VK, for example, when we're poking him here, looking at his hatch, this is what he's seeing. It's a little, I mean, it's still very easy to shoot the hatch, but I can pull into cover a lot easier trying to hide it compared to obviously just flat out showing it. So let's go into another game and see if the TL7 can do just as well. Wow, I'm getting super lucky today. Another tier 8 battle. That is crazy good. Now, just because we're up against tier 8s doesn't mean my team's going to be always the best, but it means that I should at least be able to get a decent chunk of damage out. Up against us, we have a T-34 Falcon, a KV-5, a Carnarvon, and an IS-8. So they got 4 heavies. That's a lot. The good news is that we have plenty of pen to cut through all those heavies, and we have plenty of DPM to contest all of those heavies. So that's the good news. The other good news is that we are on the side of the map where I'm able to hide my hatch. So we're going to sit right here and hopefully be able to hide it completely. Same in on the IS-8. Get a pretty nice pen, and already we've been able to get a bounce on our turret armor. Not too bad. This is actually a really good map for a vehicle like the TL7 because of the fact that we can try and hide the vehicle's not hatch, but necessarily just the weak spots in general with this bush here. It's very hard to see through the bush, so a lot of people struggle with that, and they just shoot at your hull, and they don't actually know where to aim. So we got the IS-8 in the back over here. Let's aim in another shell onto the IS-8. Nice pen. We did get shot through the track wheel, so a little unfortunate, but that's fine. We only bled a little bit, and we were still able to get our shell out in the process. We got the Centurion Mark V one off to the side, and we're going to poke over here. We got the Carnarvon showing me, we'll just go for his hatch. There you go. Nice shot. And we again got another bounce on our upper plate. You can see this vehicle's just armor going insane when it comes to the turret. It just gets so many good bounces. So if that Carnarvon pokes again, we should be able to get, there you go, another nice pen for 284. This is where having 360 millimeters of premium pen is just crazy good and allows us to butter through literally any semblance of armor. Once again, cutting right through that Carnarvon's roof, another 340 damage roll. We are already up to 1700 damage this game, and I don't think that Carnarvon's going to want to poke us anymore. We're going to reload again. We've got 10 seconds on the reload, so we should be undetected at this point. Let's aim it on that WZ. Bonk. There you go. Nice 315 damage shot, and we can back on up. Now, the 10 reverse is really bad, and you can see that 10 reverse being awful. I mean, you have to be super cautious, but at the same time, it's not like the end of the world. You will still get bounces, which is good. We got the T-34 off to the side, which I was kind of hoping was going to overpoke us, but looks like he's not going to. That's fine, though. Again, another nice shell into that WZ. The good accuracy on this vehicle, getting the job done, allowing us to cut right into our opponents. Got the T-34 off to the side, and if that WZ pokes again, we'll get another easy pen in. There you go. Look at that. Another easy shot. Plus, we've now blocked 1,800 damage. This is just the dream battle. I mean, we are getting damage out. We are blocking damage. Our medium side is winning. Everything's going well accordingly. Let's aim it on the T-34. There you go. Nice 390 shot. WZ bounces us again for 460 on our upper plate. I mean, this is exactly what you want to have happen in this vehicle. You want the gun and everything to just work well for you. Another nice shot into the Falcon. He is no longer healthy at all. We're just going to drive right out into the open at this point, and we're going to see if I can get one more shell into his vehicle. Let's get a bonk. There you go. Nice 407 roll into the enemy T-34 Falcon. Now we're going to drive on up, and let's see. We got the IS-8 right in front of us. Okay, well, let's just drive around this corner very briefly. Get a nice bonking into the IS-8, and now we can back up. He gets cleared. We got the WZ in the side, but honestly, I could really care less about the WZ. He's got such little HP, it doesn't matter to me. I'd much rather shoot at a vehicle like the KV-5 that still has a decent chunk of hit points left. So we get a nice shell into the KV. He gets rammed and actually takes no damage, which is hilarious. And now we're just going to reload in 1 more second and get another nice shell into the rear of the KV-5. We get our max roll for 428, and look at that. 5,300 damage. There's got to be people that try to cry in the comments, Droodles gets good teams, blah, blah, blah. It's a tier 9 in a tier 8 battle. I don't know what else you want me to say. When you're fighting tier 8 in a tier 9, it's always going to be a cakewalk, especially in a vehicle like the TL7120. The armor on this tank on a map like Falls Creek, because again, as I said, the upper plate, if we take a look at the armor, this is what people are looking at. And because I'm hidden through a bush, people don't know what to aim at. So they're aiming at like this. This is what they're seeing really when they're aiming at me through the bush. They don't know what my armor looks like. So they're most likely shooting center mass, which is what we saw. They're all just shooting at my upper plate. And it doesn't matter if any of them even load premium ammo. It's just going to bounce 380 mils on the upper plate there. And the turret as well is very strong. It's going to be super good against tier 8s. The only spot they can ideally penetrate is the hatch. And as we saw in that battle, because of the way the building was designed, I was able to hide my hatch. So the only weak spot I had, I was able to hide perfectly. At the end of the day, we blocked not 5,000, we blocked 2,700 damage, did 5,300, and got a crazy victory. So I think the TL7 is incredibly fun. Let me know what you guys think about this tank in the comments down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.